Namaste. I would like to share today a little video with you because I just had a talk this morning with a friend who's a little bit lost at this time in his life between what he has to do. He's been living in an ashram for many years, he's been feeling free, wonderful, and now he feels he has to work somehow. He has a little bit of financial issues and is a little bit lost in terms of what to do, what to think. Am I following my natural voice? Am I following my path, or is it my mind? Is a little bit lost in this dilemma. So I would like to add to explain a few things to you, because it's when we come on the spiritual path, usually it's to stop a pattern, a conditioning. We don't want to continue in life with the same conditioning, the same values, the same guilt. I'm doing this out of fear and I'm doing this out of guilt. So we cut with a certain program. And often we go into a real cut that is very healing. We go into an ashram, or we meditate a lot, or we go and become a nun or a monk or something to stop this conditioning. And at one point there may be the questioning, but is that it? Did I find what I wanted to find? And there may be the feeling that I'm missing something. I'm missing something that is really me in a deep way. And at this time there can be confusion. What is a path? Am I going back into my old conditioning, etc., etc.? So I think a few things need to be understood. First of all, there is a time for everything. There is a time to heal yourself. You need to cut from certain patterns, certain conditioning, in order to get back and be in touch with your freedom, with your with this essence we feel within, with this beautiful peace and experiences you may have had, and which gives a feeling of, wow, there is something bigger than me, that is inside and all around, but something bigger. So once you feel you've healed enough, there comes a time when you have a choice. You can be trapped now. Before it was not a trap, it was a necessary time. But at one point, there may be the need for something else. And when this time comes, you have to be aware that there is not one solution. Each individual is different. But there may be, for some of you, the need to realize that you got into the sky, you got into a beautiful space, you got some healing, you went and got in touch with your joy, with your freedom, but you need to bring a foot back to the earth. And what does it mean? It means to reconnect with what is, to reconnect with what is your gut feeling. And this is getting back to the earth within yourself, getting back in touch with the earth, but from a different perspective, the healed perspective. Once you saw your patterns and your conditioning and etc. And at this time, don't feel guilty that you understand that if you feel guilty, you're not working. It's an old pattern. Don't feel guilty. And at the same time, don't remove the search for your true expression in the matter. That means maybe working. Don't remove this, but from a different source, not the mind source with a guilt. I have to do something, I have to participate in life, I have to. But from a natural source, you know what you really feel. And what you really feel is not always idealistic. And this really needs to be understood, because the spiritual seeker is now trying at this stage to find the perfect expression of himself or herself, what is ideal. And you have to understand that idealism prevents at some point the spiritual seekers from finding the simplicity of our beingness here and now. And here and now, it's always an adaptation to the present moment. There is not something idealistic to find, but just what is idealistic in a way is your true expression here and now. So that may be adapting to circumstances. Well, I don't have money now. What can I do? Maybe this little job will help me, and that's it. And then I will move like this from time to time, from moment to moment, and find maybe a truer and truer expression of myself. But if I have idealism from the beginning, I will feel heavy and cut from any spontaneity and lightness of being, because I have such a project in me. So this is something that people need to understand. It's time, it's moment by moment, here and now. Just follow what your inner voice tells you and what the circumstances tell you. And drop with spiritual idealism, which is like a weight and prevents you from truly flowing with the moment and truly taking everything lightly. So, and when this is the case, you're in touch with your real freedom. And whether you have obstacles on your path is no longer a problem, because you found your true freedom, which is being yourself, following what you feel. And this true freedom doesn't care whether there are obstacles on the way, or apparently the absence of freedom as the mind defines it. It's completely different. So really understand that, because at one point on the spiritual path, that can be the greatest obstacle. Following your freedom doesn't mean everything will be easy. Following your freedom means you completely respect your inner voice, and you're ready, because you're in touch with your true freedom. You're ready to take care of the obstacles on the way, and it doesn't matter anymore. You have the energy to go through it, because you're in touch with your true self. And that's what is really important. So be here and now, drop all idealism, and understand who you are, understand your ego pattern, understand also the myth of the savior. And this is a very important myth to understand, because once you get in touch with your essence, this archetype comes up, and the myth of the savior. And it has a part of truth, because being yourself helps. It's in the nature of being yourself. Once you're free and you remove the patterns that prevent you from finding your freedom and expressing it, you're helping the pool of consciousness just by the simple fact of being yourself. So the myth of the savior, in a way, is true, but once it is used by the mind, it becomes, I have a mission. I have something important to do. I have to succeed. And this is these old archetypes that comes to the mind, and it can be such a trap. So know that, and know being yourself helps anyway. So don't have any expectation, don't have any big program, just follow what you feel here and now. And if what this path brings you to really help other people, fine. But if it doesn't, you're still free, because you have found self-respect, which is following this inner voice no matter what, beyond the need to help from the mind patterns, from the mind needs, beyond the need to help others. So you're free from results, and therefore you're no longer a manipulator, you're no longer using spirituality to become great and be the savior. Even unconsciously, some people can do very, very beautiful things, apparently completely egoless, but it's still coming from this pattern, which is still unconscious, but is leading some people. So be aware of that, and just simply be yourself. I wish you all the best. Be yourself, and drop all idealism to find your true nature. Namaste.